Now, the RW Wilcocks building of Stellenbosch University has been renamed the Krotoa building. The building houses the departments of History and Psychology and the Division of Research Development. Our reporter Vanessa Puna has the full story for us.
A traditional ceremony is underway here in front of the newly renamed Krotoa building on the University of Stellenbosch. Of course, the decision to have this building renamed from a former rector to Krotoa, who is, as we know, the 1600s Khoi woman who really acted as an intermediary, as a translator between the Dutch and her people here at the Cape. Of course, a day of celebration. And joining me now from the University of Stellenbosch is Dr. Leslie van Rooy. Doctor, very warm good morning to you. Let us start at the beginning. So this process is a few years in the making. Take us through where it started.
Yes, so the process started officially in 2018, where it was decided that we should reconsider the name of what was then the RW Wilcocks building. And of course, a public engagement process started with regards to consultation around the Wilcocks name. And later, when it was agreed that we will rename the building, we started a new process to invite members of our local publics, our communities, to propose names that would be fitting and will allow something of the shared history to become true on a campus that this is Stellenbosch University. Yeah.
Why Krotoa?
So Krotoa was one of the proposals, and as part of the proposals, we realized that Krotoa stands for a number of things and symbols, including, of course, the story of Krotoa and the fact that that story should be part of the stories of Stellenbosch University. The nature of a story links with the stories of so many peoples of South Africa. Our diversity is embedded in the story of Krotoa. And then a role, of course, as language interpreter, translator, language creator comes to reality in a university that wants to celebrate language diversity more and more.
We're talking about language diversity and the issue about language and the policies, the language policy of this university comes up in the news every now and then. Talk to us about the significance with renaming this building and also what your aims and ambitions are going forward in terms of this inclusivity.
Yes. So, you know, Stellenbosch University is part of the South African story where multilingualism is part of our identity, and indeed sometimes it happens that we struggle to fully embody that as a nation and of course also as a campus community. But in our policies and processes, we want to acknowledge that indeed there are more than one language community represented here in classroom and out of classroom, and in that sense the language diversity becomes part of the learning experience on campus. The story of Krotoa adds something very special to that, and that is that the translator, the one that transverses the stories of identities and singular language groups and allows us to be part of a multilingual university context, becomes real.
We also understand, Doctor, just before I let you go, that a number of installations will be taking place. We know an event is taking place at the museum later on. Talk to us a bit about that.
Yes, so inside the building there is a full contextualization of Krotoa, her story. There are poems by Diana Ferris and others, and we will soon also have the story and history of RW Wilcocks on the building. At the museum, and now play will be celebrated and enjoyed by everyone. We will eat foraged foods, traditional foods at the museum. And if you walk around the building, you'll see a lot of traditional plants forested from the Stellenbosch mountain and other regions are planted here to allow something of the First Nations experience to be real, also in how we look and what we see on campus.
Dr. Leslie van Rooy, thank you very much for your time. So, of course, speaking to us there from the University of Stellenbosch on this day, the official renaming of the RW Wilcocks building to the Krotoa building, and behind me, celebrations are still in full swing as traditional leaders as well as members from various organizations. I've seen, for example, the CEO of the Artscape Theatre, Marlene Leroux, here in attendance, and of course various other leadership of traditional leaders coming together here for the celebration at the University of Stellenbosch this morning.